I think that to go back, I think that the implementation of African-centered education early on is going to be something in the long run that 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 makes that happen. That's going to make that happen automatically, I think. And then because we can't rely on that, I think we need to also intentionally, instead of just catching the wave, there's catching the wave and then there's like creating waves. So I think we have to create institutions. And that's why, I mean, I think, of course, the best example, right, is best example is Osiri University. I mean, it is that it's kind of the manifestation of what we're talking about, you know, exactly, this university. And more like it, I think. You know, people were talking at our school, you know, it's a big thing about creating college of ethnic studies right now, right? Mm-hmm. Here at this university, the second college of ethnic studies in the country. And it's excellent. It's one of the, it's one pathway. But then it's like, okay, what if we think even bigger? You know, have a whole university, you know, which is what y'all doing. So I think that what you all are doing, I think that is the solution in the educational arena, but then the same thing needs to happen in other areas too, economics and others. Conferences, regular conferences too. Mm-hmm. In Africa. That's the NCBS, the board that I'm a part of, every year picks a location to have the conference in. And it will be really, really, really great. And it has in the past, you know, it had a conference in Ghana, but to again go back to the African continent for a National Council of Black Studies conference.
Wow, interesting points. Now you mentioned something about the curriculum, and I hear these slogan. A lot of universities are talking about decolonizing the curriculum. My university is one of those, you know, champions about decolonizing the curriculum. I mean, what I see in reality and what I see on paper is kind of very different. Would you want to shed more light on this? Is it some sort of optics for the optics, and you know, we're considering you guys, we're here for you guys, but not necessarily, you know, walking the walk, just talking the talk. So,
yes. Absolutely. I think that this is a white liberal, it has all the markings, all of my white liberal alarms start going when I hear some of this language, because it's the language of decolonizing the curriculum. I mean, it's, first of all, it still centers colonization. I mean, you're decolonizing. We start talking, and they also are very hesitant to be race specific in the solutions. They're just begun to start disaggregating the data so that they can understand the problems on campuses in a way that allows them to highlight different racial experiences. But then when it comes to the solution, the constraints of budget as well as neoliberal thinking pushes them to try to capture everything in equity and inclusion kind of rhetoric. And it ends up missing the mark because they want to try to think outside of the box, but pressed tightly up against it, you know, and they don't want to be culture or race specific or race affirmative, even though they talk the talk of increasing senses of belonging and welcoming on campus by being anti-racist, but not being culturally affirmative, you know?
Now, this kind of brings the question on the chat, because it kind of ties in nicely to it. Any thoughts on how we can make early childhood education widespread in the US and maybe globally speaking?
I think that there are so many successful models African-centered schools, um, elementary school level, middle school, even high school. You know, in Philadelphia's Imhotep high school that they have that's so successful, but it's not enough parents and families know about it. The 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 publicity that that is possible with social media